There are some questions that frequently linger on my mind. For example, who is going to be the next president? No, I'm just messing with you. We're going to talk about the Minish from The Legend of Zelda, the Minish Cap. Because they disappeared all of a sudden. They are nowhere to be found after the Minish Cap, which is more than strange. What happened to them? Where did they go? Is there a reason behind all of this? To start off, we first have to look at the different types of Minish and where they live. There are 3 different types of Minish that live in different parts of the world. The Forest Minish. These types of Minish live in the fields and forests. They like to leave rupees and other various items hidden in grass for adventurers to find, explaining why Link is able to find all sorts of items in or under pots, rocks and grass. Minish Village is the highest concentration of Minish in the entire land of Hyrule, and is solely populated by Forest Minish. They do not hate Hylians, but instead like to keep their distance away from them and help them from afar. The Town Minish. These Minish love Hylians so much that they live near or in the cities of Hyrule. Town Minish do various things for the Hylians, including making shoes for Rem, baking goods for Weeton and Pita, cleaning, sorting books in the Royal Hyrule Library, and way more. They have a good relationship with the Forest Minish and are visited often by them. The Mountain Minish. These Minish are a special type of Minish that live solely in the mountains. Their primary jobs are mining and smithing items. So the first thing we're going to look at is, did the world change in any way? Is there something that forced the Minish to leave their homes or killed them? First up, Mount Crenel. Do we see any changes here? Well, there's only one mountain in Four Swords, the next game in the timeline, and that's Death Mountain. Now we can say with almost 100% certainty that Death Mountain and Mount Crenel are the same place, since this is the only mountain in both games. Now in Four Swords you can only explore the inside of the volcano, and it looks similar to the Cave of Flames from the Minish Cap. Now yet again the volcano is active. But if we look at the picture of the mountain in the overworld, we can see that it has gotten a bit more serious. It looks like the mountain has turned into one big volcano, is very active, and way more dangerous. Now the volcanic activity would be a good reason for the Minish to move out and leave. Or maybe they were caught by surprise and burned to death. There's even a fire monster that inhabits Death Mountain. It has just become way too dangerous for them to stay, if they even survived. Now what about the Forest Minish? Well, for this one we have to look at the Sea of Trees, the only forest in the game. Now this one isn't as simple, since there appears to be no problem in the forest. Not a lot of enemies, no drastic changes or problems, nothing. The only dangerous thing in the entire forest is the final boss, which is rooted to the ground so it can't go anywhere. To be honest, I don't really know what happened to the Forest Minish. There's no explanation why they disappeared. And when it comes to the Town Minish, we don't even see towns in Four Swords, so we can't really say anything about them. However, there are other options. One of them being Vaati. We can see at the ending of the Minish Cap that Vaati spawned all the monsters that were running around in the world. And we also see that Aslo left through some sort of portal. So there are 2 options here. Let's start with the one of Vaati. It could be that Vaati spawned all of the monsters and problems just like in the Minish Cap. And as an act of revenge, he killed all of the Minish. Aslo has stopped Vaati before, so maybe he wanted to make sure that there would be no problems this time. But there's also another option, a less dark one. The Minish could have been around in every game. They were there in Ocarina of Time, in Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, and way more. At the beginning of the Minish Cap, you get a story cutscene explaining the events of the Light Force and the Picori Blade. It is said that the Minish came from the sky and gave the humans the Light Force and the sword. This happened long ago, and a lot of people already forgot about all of it, and call it fairy tales. Now the events of the Minish Cap are also not known to everybody, so the people would still mostly believe that it's fairy tales. Like the king said, nobody outside of the royal family knows the truth about them. And at the end of the Minish Cap, Aslo just disappears. So, do the Minish still exist? Did they stand the test of time? Well, probably. They are really small and are an invisible helping hand. So they probably watched from the shadows and guided the people all those years. And they could have always went back to the Minish world, the realm where they came from. Aslo even travels to the Minish world at the end of the game and closes the portal. But it's not likely that all the Minish disappeared, since there's one big clue for this. Like I said, the forest Minish are responsible for leaving behind rupees in pots, grass and other places. Which is a hint towards the fact that they are still around in the other Zelda games, since we still find rupees in pots, grass and other places. So, just like they did before the events of the Minish Cap, unseen, but still there. Now before you go, I have something important to say. I got a permanent sponsor deal with Loot Crate, and I want to hear your opinion on it. The reason why I took this sponsorship is so that I can make an honest wage since I'm also not in school anymore. Don't think I will spam you to death with it, but every now and then it will pop up at the end of a video. I've bought loot crates before and I was very happy with it. I think it's a cool concept and it fits with all of you. So I thought this would be the best solution. So tell me what you think of this. Your opinion matters to me. And I hope you can also understand my side of the story. Also, people wanted me to do theories on the less popular Zelda games like the Minish Cap. So here it is, and there's way more coming.